This was a triumph. I'm making a...
What's up, YouTube? Sergeant Blake here again. It's Sunday night and I wanted to make a new video before I went back to school and had no time to do anything. So I just got done with my homework, and the first thing that I want to mention is that I hope you like the new logos. I worked pretty hard on them and I really like the way they turned out. So today's video is actually a two-part video suggested to me by Degu2525. I'm not going to put his name right here. Yeah, I might, but because I've already mentioned him a couple times actually. But he says, why don't you talk about the PlayStation Slim, the PS3 Slim. This is part one. Obviously, I'm not Quentin Tarantino. I'm not going to give you part two first, but this is part one. And that's the PlayStation 60GB, the original launch PlayStation, against the PS3 Slim. So let's just talk about what you do when you don't have with both systems. Well, for starters, the launch 60GB, I'm looking at mine right now even though mine isn't a 60GB anymore. The launch 60GB was $600, very expensive, and the games that were out for it, with the exception of, what was that one game? Resistance, how could I forget? Fall of Man were were pretty slim. And so it came out back in 06, 3 years ago. I forget how much it weighs, I think about 12 pounds. It's pretty heavy. And what were the features? It had 4 USB ports. It had the card readers up in that little side slot thing. It was backwards compatible. You could run Linux on it, which is a thing. Well, I'll get into that later. And you could run Linux on it. Now, everything else stays the same pretty much. You can still upgrade your hard drive in both the PS3 Slim and the old PS3, and you get free service for online. Now, the PS3 Slim does not have backwards compatibility like all the other systems after the 60GB. It only has two USB ports, sorry, and it has no card readers. What else? Among those things, it's also what is it, about a third lighter, so that weighs about 11 pounds, so let's round that up to 12. It's about 9 pounds. Yeah, 9 pounds. Just making sure my math was all correct. So it's about 9 pounds, which is pretty good for a system this generation. It's actually lighter than the Xbox. But what else was I saying? Okay, so it's a lot lighter, and it consumes a third less electricity. So personally, I don't pay electricity in my house, so it all kind of just gets factored into the bill. But if you live in a different area and they charge you for that type of stuff, then you're probably going to see a difference in the bill if you pick up a PS3 Slim. Now, one thing that I'm interested in, and I have not seen anything on, and we probably won't hear anything about until it kind of hits the mainstream and is out for a couple months, is being smaller and most of the things being squished together. Is it going to heat up? Is the fan in there competent? Now, from what I hear, the PS3 Slim runs super quiet. Almost so quiet you can't even tell if it's on. Now, I don't know if that's part of the whole design, like if they've perfected the design, and meaning that it doesn't run hot, the fans don't start whirring really fucking loudly. I'm not sure if it's part of the design or part of a mistake in the design to make them super quiet. Now, what I'm saying is that everything being closer together, is it going to heat and overheat easily? I'm hoping not, obviously, because that would be detrimental to the sales, I guess. Because, you know, eventually if it starts getting yellow lights of death like the Xbox had, or the red rings of death, well, we'll be in trouble. But that's not... I still think that we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's nothing that we can really do about it now. So, that's my particular question. From what I've seen, the little PS3 logo that you can flip, so when you flip it vertically, it's still in the right place. From what I hear, or for what I'm seeing online, it no longer flips. It's here. Not a big deal. Again, instead of touchpads, they have just normal buttons. You just click the button and it turns on. Not a big thing, but I think that might have saved them a bit of cash. Now, two things that I want to talk about. These two new features. Well, one less feature and one new one. So basically, now if you connect an HDMI cord to your PS3, which everybody should have nowadays, and a HD TV, again, which most people have, even I have one and I'm fairly broke all the time. If you connect your HDMI cable to a Bravia, you can navigate the XMV through the Bravia controller. Now, and you can also turn off the TV and the PlayStation at the same time by just hitting the power button. Again, like I said, not a super huge thing. I don't own a Bravia, but I might buy one just for it. I don't know. I'm actually getting a new TV soon, but this has nothing to do with me. What I'm saying is that if you own a Bravia and you're thinking about PlayStation 3, well, that's a new little feature for you. Now, the thing that they took out, and this is actually huge on the forums, so a lot of people are arguing that the PS3 Slim's lack of the Linux operating system ability is this huge difference. Now, I've never used Linux on my PS3, and a lot of people are saying it's a big difference, it's going to make a huge thing. Now, again, these people are pretty much just trying to run damage control for Xbox. A lot of these Xbox fanboys are saying, you know, well, they're trying to point out all the bad features, and, you know, honestly, it does not make a difference to me. I've never run Linux, and a lot of people are saying they've never done it either. It does not matter. And another thing is that Sony put this in there, or Sony took it out rather, because people were using the Linux operating system and the PlayStation 3 together to rip Blu-ray discs. So basically, it's a way of cutting down piracy. Now, it's not a huge way, I'd say. I don't know of a lot of people that were doing it. It's not big enough news for it to cause a stir, but it's one little way. Piracy on the PlayStation 3 is pretty rare because of the file sizes being so huge and taking so long to download. Anyway, another thing I want to bring up is that a lot of people are worried about the hard drive. You can still upgrade your hard drive from the PS3s to any type of laptop hard drive. I'm not going to explain how in this video. I know everybody should know how. If you don't, that's what we have YouTube for. So check it out. It's really easy, really simple. And with 120 gigabyte, now I have 160 gigabyte PS3. And at this point, I'm kind of running low. I've got about 100 gigs left, and that's still low. That's low to me. But you know, I plan on upgrading. If I do get a PS3 Slim, I'll upgrade to that as soon as I start playing instead of waiting a little bit. Anyway, so I think that about wraps it up. I'm not saying that it's anything that either one is better. Obviously, the 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3s still possess most of the functionality. You have the 4 USB ports, the card reader, the Linux thing, which nobody fucking cares about, backwards compatibility, and blah 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 blah. But well, this new PS3, of course, it's slimmer. Well, it's smaller. It weighs less, so you can carry it a few more places. If you want to take it out of your room and put it in the living room, it can finally become that multimedia hub that you've always wanted. What else? It's smaller. It consumes less electricity, or less energy, not electricity. But it consumes less energy, so you can pretty much play for longer. No word yet on whether or not it heats up, but who knows? You can still use your, you can still upgrade the hard drive, which I've said multiple times. Sorry. So that's about it. It's really. Oh, what am I talking about? I forgot. Stupid me. Wow, the 60 gigabyte PlayStation that came out 3 years ago costs $600. This new PlayStation that's coming out September 1st costs only $300. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Sergeant Blake signing off. I'll be back soon.